It may be the single toughest day in Western horse sports. Cutting, reining, roping, and that pell-mell run down the fence.
And 50 of the greatest horses and riders out there. I mean, it was a battle right from the start.
We're now down to the 11 finalists who will compete in all 4 events on a single day in a single bit and bridle, all battling for the title of World's Greatest Horseman.
I mean, anything can happen. It's just kind of a roller coaster ride.
You just go up and down, and one minute you're winning, next minute you're losing, you know?
We'll take you along for the ride. Plus, in Your Horse Inside and Out, sponsored by Boehringer Ingelheim, Dr. Joe Carter takes us into the surgery center at Oklahoma Equine Hospital.
The Western horse was a master of a hard world, pitted for centuries against half-wild bovines. Ferocious predators, brutal weather, and the sheer size of the country they had to cover. Their descendants are still nimble, fast, and courageous, with a rock-solid disposition that makes them beloved the world over. In this next half hour, you'll see them in action here on Horse of the West.
DT Horses hashtags World's Greatest Horseman showcases the final step in the process of building a finished Western bridle horse, one that can quietly step through the herd, rein with confidence and style, score, rate back and stop a steer, and then go nose to nose, stride for stride with a cow down the fence. Defending champion Kelby Phillips is riding the horse that carried him to the Snafflebit Fraternity Championship back in 2016, Duel's Lucky Charm. He's just 6 years old and the youngest mount in this final. Making it through the finals in second place was Kelby's wife Abby on the 9-year-old gelding Bedhead Cat by Wild Haired Cat.
You ended up right there at the top of the pack and actually came out ahead of your husband.
Yes. We're both very competitive. But I did tell him I'm not here to beat you at all.
I know that's not true, because she's been making comments all week about how I beat her. So, yeah, that's definitely not true.
But Kelby makes no bones about the fact that he wants to best Abby.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I want to win no matter who I'm going against.
Is this a marriage test?
Oh, it has been, yeah. But I think we're getting through it.
Corey Cushing has a special reason for wanting Abby to do well in the herd work. Last year, while he was helping her in the cutting, he suggested a cow that ended up running over her and putting her horse out of the competition.
And I felt horrible. I mean, and she would never, ever blame me for it, but I'm super, super pumped that both of them are in the finals.
Corey is a former champion who knows what it feels like to win the title of World's Greatest Horseman.
Oh, it's the feeling we hope and dream about all day, every day. You know, there were so many great horses, and you know, coming here it's going to be tough, but it only makes you work that much harder. And to be part of it again, I mean, it's truly an honor. So, yeah, just looking forward to it.
Corey's particularly happy to be in this year's final. He barely made it, tied for 10th place on Sherry Jamison's Sonita Luna Ray by NRCHA $2 million sire Dual Ray. Coming out on top of the prelims, Jake Telford riding Michelle Cannon's Sparktillion by NRCHA $4 million sire Shining Spark.
Yeah, but it really doesn't mean anything, you know, because we start over from scratch, so anything can happen. Any of those 11 guys this time have a chance at winning this. There's some great horses in there, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
And sure to be in the mix is Zane Davis, a multiple World's Greatest Horseman finalist, several times on this son of NRCHA $2 million sire, one-time Pepto. Ruby's Radar, a 9-year-old stallion owned by C Ranches, is a scrappy competitor, immortalized in one of the greatest cow horse photos of all time. Zane and Radar not only survived this collision in 2016, but went on to finish the run and win a 2-rein championship. That's the kind of grit Zane says a horse needs to compete in World's Greatest Horseman year after year.
So it not only takes the right kind of horse physically, but to do this event, especially multiple times, I think it takes the right mindset for that type of horse, or for this type of event.
4 events in a single day, beginning with herd work. Corey Cushing of Scottsdale, Arizona, and Sonita Luna Ray are up first. On the upside, Corey says his awesome herd helped, found 3 good cows for him to cut. On the downside, he says his horse stumbled a bit and didn't make the best cuts. He comes away with a 212.
I was a little bit disappointed there, probably hurt my run content a little bit, but like I said, my awesome herd help kept me in the right frame of mind. Told me not to panic.
Jake Telford of Caldwell, Idaho had a 2:16.5 in the preliminary herd work on board 9-year-old mare Sparktillion. They earned a 2:15 here in the final.
My third cow just didn't really take a hold of her, and on the second cow I might have had a little bit of a miss, but she was good. She's real stylish and cow smart, and so I was happy with her.
Luke Jones is from Allerton, Iowa. He's riding Dell and Terry Hendricks Wranglered by NRHA $1 Million sire Starlight's Wrangler. Dell, an NRHA $1 Million rider himself, started the stallion in Reining, but he's been working in other events as well.
And he's been a fantastic calf horse as well, and we've continued to do the team roping and the reining and the whole deal, kind of running for the super horse at the World Show. And then this year we tried the World's Greatest, and man, it couldn't worked out better so far.
Like 8 out of the 10 riders in this final still looking for a first World's Greatest title, Luke really wants this buckle.
It would mean everything. I've been second here before, and that was one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me, and to win it would be absolutely amazing as well. So yeah, we're just going to go give it our all and see what happens.
Luke and Wrangler have a little heck in the herd work, getting stuck on a cow that won't look away and give him a chance to break off. They end up with a 2:06. Boyd Rice of Weatherford, Texas was 2014 champion of this event. He has a smooth go in the herd work on a son of Royal Fletch named Royal Smart Fletch, owned by Kit and Charlie Moncrief. This is a multiple World's Greatest finalist, AQHA and NRCHA champion. They earn a 2:20, and that'll be the highest mark among the finalists in the herd work.
Pretty set in herd work.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's kind of what I do for every day, and my horse was good tonight, and I cut 3 perfect cows, and I just got him showed good.
Now here's Abby Phillips of Scottsdale. She marked a 2:18 in the herd work prelims, marks the same score again here in the finals on board David Burtonshaw's Bedhead Cat.
He's a great cutter, and I love that about him, and he's loves me, and so it makes it pretty fun to go show him.
Corey Cushing can breathe a sigh of relief. All the cattle choices for Abby go well, making up for last year's pick of a cow that ended up running over her.
Yeah, he was worried, but he picked some good ones.
Abby Phillips' husband, Kelby, our defending champion, earns a 2:15 on board Duel's Lucky Charm. Brad Lund of Lacine, Kansas is riding the 10-year-old mare Honeybees by NRCHA $2 Million sire Pepto Boonsmall. She's picked up multiple championships over the years, but in the herd work, Brad says he was mostly just trying to stay out of trouble.
That's my mare's probably weakest event, I would say. So I felt like I got my cows. My first cow wasn't much, and my next 2 cows were okay, so I just kind of tried to survive it.
Get out of there without a disaster.
Yeah, no kidding.
Brad and Honeybees move on with a respectable score of 2:12. Sean Hayes of Nacona, Texas is riding an 8-year-old son of Sula Jewel Star with the announcer challenging name of Red River Rivalry. The 8-year-old stallion, owned by Tammy Hayes and Walter Greenman, earn a 2:16.5.
See, a little bit of delay coming back to the right, and I just wasn't trusting him enough and had to help him a few times. But I probably should have just been a little more patient instead of picking my hand up as soon. But like I say, he was good. I was happy to get out there with 2:16.5.
Zane Davis and Ruby's Radar have a good run going until their third cow, which cost them some points, leaving them with a score of 2:12.
He cut to the fence right there at the end, but the buzzer blew right before he ever got to the fence. So, but anyway, I was proud of my horse, and I wish we could have been a little higher, but that's the way things go.
Matt Cook's a Nebraska cowboy who just relocated to a new place in Alt, Colorado. He rolled into this competition a few years back, a relative unknown right off the ranch. Matt quickly made his mark and has earned a place in the finals of World's Greatest Horseman consistently since then, but winning the title?
Oh, it would be crazy. I can't even really imagine it yet. It's like I say, there's so many good horses and good hands in this event that to even be a part of the top 10 is unbelievable.
Matt is riding a 7-year-old mare he owns, This Cat's Sinful by WR This Cat's Smart and NRCHA $2 Million sire. Matt and This Cat's Sinful come out of the herd work with a 2:14.
She was good. Cattle were quick and fast, and she did her job. Had a few little bobbles here and there.
So Boyd Rice is in first, coming out of the herd work. Abby Phillips in second, and Sean Hayes third. We move on to the rein work next as we continue our search for the world's greatest horseman. Be right back.
You're watching Horse of the West on RFD TV, presented by the Oklahoma City Convention and Visitors Bureau.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs, this is it. While supplies last, order all 9 for just $59.99 with free shipping in the continental U.S. Learn training secrets from Hall of Fame members like Sean Flaherty and Tim McQuay and nearly all of NRHA's $1 million riders. It's the best deal ever and only while supplies last. Buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs at InsideReining.com or call 405-399-3122.
Welcome back to Horse of the West. We're in Fort Worth for NRCHA's World's Greatest Horseman, sponsored by DT Horses and Hashtags. Rainwork's up next, and Kelby Phillips gets us started on Duel's Lucky Charm. These two had a 216.5 in the prelims, but they bumped that up a point here in the clean slate final with a 217.5. That's going to give them a composite of 432 1/2.
He was pretty good. I was happy with him for as young as he is and that type of environment. Yeah, he was good.
Matt Cook has drawn the number 2 slot on his wife's mare, This Cat's Sinful. Their prelim score in the Reining was a 213. Matt's more comfortable with the events that involve cattle, but he gets through the Rainwork without a disaster.
I guess to mark up 70 and 71s at a major event, I can't be too disappointed.
Abby Phillips and Bedhead Cat lay down a 214 in the Reining despite a couple of bobbles.
Had a little bit of a scotch down on the second stop, but other than that, I'm happy with him.
A 432 composite will move Abby and Bedhead Cat into second behind her husband Kelby by just half a point. Sean Hayes and Red River Rivalry will slide into a tie for first. They earn a 216 in the Rainwork that's going to match Kelby's composite of 432.5. Corey Cushing, whose Reining background usually allows him to shine in the dry work, had a disastrous go in the prelims, but he and Sonita Lena Ray mark a 217 here in the final to stay in the hunt with a 429 composite.
We're a lot farther ahead than where we were in the go-round, so, it was dang sure a better run. I was proud of him.
After the 212 in the herd work, Zane Davis and Ruby's Radar will need to shine in the Rainwork, and that is not hard for this 9-year-old stallion.
He's a really easy horse to show in the Reining, and he's a pretty horse to look at, which never hurts. And he's been shown a lot and won a lot of money, and he stays pretty true and consistent.
The judges reward Zane and Radar with the highest Reining score so far, a 224, which is going to give them a composite of 436 and move them into the lead by a full 4 points.
I knew I had some ground to make up, and I thought if there's ever a time to hang it out there, this is the time. So, that helped us a bunch and put us back up there.
Brad Lunn and Honeybees will stay in the mix with a 212 in the Reining and a composite of 424.
I know I had a minus probably on my first stop and back, but she circled good, change leads good, and stop and turn pretty decent.
Jake Telford will finish out the Reining with a big score on Sparktillion. A 221 will give him a composite of 436 and put him in a tie with Zane Davis and Ruby's Radar.
She stops really good and always turns good. Pure in her circles, so I was happy with her. Maybe my nerves got in her way a little bit.
Up next, the steer stopping. 10 seconds that can make or break you in World's Greatest Horseman.
Your Horse Inside and Out with Dr. Joe Carter, sponsored by Beringer Ingelheim.
Sometimes what looks like an innocuous or a small wound that's no big deal on a horse's leg can actually be a really big deal. If you look at this horse right here on his left hind leg, right here on the outside, we've got this one small little wound right there. And so it's been, a little draining wound. It's been there for a while, and it's just doesn't seem to be getting better very quickly. You'll also notice that there's some swelling, right here in front of that wound. And this is right over a small bone in a horse's leg called the splint bone. Well, the splint bone is a small bone. There's actually 2 of them that's in each of the horse's legs, and it runs alongside the cannon bone or the shin bone. And these little bones kind of are just old embryologic remnants of bones that used to be used when a horse might have had 2 toes instead of just 1. And now that they're down to just standing on 1, these bones really don't serve a lot of purpose, and when they get injured, they'll fracture. And when they're fractured, they leave you with not a lot of options other than to take them out. And so let's go in and take a look at this horse's radiographs, and this little wound's going to surprise us by what it shows us on the x-ray. So this small innocuous wound on this horse's leg, and that little bump, we come and we look at the radiograph of it, and we see this horse has actually had 2 different fractures of the splint bone. Well, the splint bone runs, this is the cannon bone right here, which is the shin, and then this splint bone runs along beside it, and you can see we have a fracture there and there. You can actually see this little whitish area is the wound on the horse's leg. So you can see this horse got a kick, created this wound, and that kick broke this splint bone in 2 different places. And so the treatment for this is surgical removal, and these horses come back after about 60 days and they're good as new basically. And I'm Dr. Joe Carter with Your Horse Inside and Out.
Your Horse Inside and Out is sponsored by Behringer Ingelheim. Before making any decisions about your horse's health, be sure to contact your veterinarian.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs, this is it. While supplies last, order all 9 for just $59.99 with free shipping in the continental U.S. Learn training secrets from Hall of Fame members like Sean Flaherty and Tim McQuay and nearly all of NRHA's $1 Million riders. It's the best deal ever and only while supplies last. Buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs at InsideReining.com or call 405-399-3122.
Oklahoma Equine Hospital, now with standing MRI, magnetic resonance imaging without anesthesia.
It's very easy to use on the horse. You walk them into the room and then let the machine do its work.
It has a huge benefit as far as eliminating catastrophic risk to horses.
It's a game changer in the performance horse industry.
And the less trauma we put the horse through, benefit the recovery of the horse.
Oklahoma Equine Hospital with standing MRI off I-35 south of Norman, Oklahoma.
Welcome back to Horse of the West in Fort Worth, Texas. There is a tie for first in the National Rein Cow Horse Association's World's Greatest Horseman, presented by DT Horses and Hashtags. Jake Telford on Michelle Cannon's Sparktillion and Zane Davis on Sea Ranch's Ruby's Radar both came out of the herd work and the rein work with a composite of 436. Coming out of the reining, Kelby Phillips was tied with Sean Hayes for second. He and Duel's Lucky Charm earn a 218 in the roping, but Sean Hayes and Red River Rivalry earn a 219, which is going to move them ahead by a point. Kelby and Sean will end up slipping into 5th and 4th place respectively because Corey Cushing and Sonita Lena Ray smoke the steer stopping and pick up a 223. That's the highest roping score in the final. They take sole possession of 3rd now with a 652 composite. Zane Davis and Ruby's Radar also have a smooth catch and earn a 220 in the steer stopping. That's going to leave them in 2nd with a composite of 656 because Jake Telford rolls in, has a big 222 in the roping to take a 2-point lead in the composite now with a total of 658. So moving into the final event, Jake, Zane, and Corey are in perfect position to push for the win. Kelby and Sean will either need a monster run down the fence or for one of those 3 to stumble. But as always, the title will be decided in the 4th and final event, that thrilling run down the fence. Drawing first position in the cow work is Luke Jones on Dell and Terry Hendricks Stallion Wrangler. Luke feels his horse did as much as he could with the cow they drew, and they ride away with a 215.5. Boyd Rice and Kitten Charlie Moncrief Stallion Royal Smart Fletch have a great start in the fence work.
Went fine. That was a good cow, and when I come in there in my first turn, I got a little bit tight and kind of hit him in the side and went past me, and I got him turned good, and second turn was perfect, but then he fell down, and yeah, everything kind of went to hell. But you know what? That's part of it.
Boyd gets clobbered with a 194.5, but win, lose, or draw, he loves this event.
Ken Wool told me one time it was kind of like a fist fight. You feel like you're losing, getting the hell beat out of you until it's over, and then everything's good.
Abby Phillips, who lost some points in the roping, makes up a bunch of ground on the guys with the 2nd best run of the day in the fence work. She and David Burtonshaw's gelding Bedhead Cat earn a 223, which will give them a 5th place finish.
I boxed it for a little too long. I couldn't get it around the corner that good. But once I did, he made 2 big turns and circled her right up. And I'm happy.
Now here's Zane Davis and the battle-tested Ruby's Radar owned by Sea Ranches. They're sitting pretty in 2nd, just 2 points behind Jake Telford, 4 points ahead of Corey Cushing. It's all going to come down to who makes the best fence run in the raucous John Justin Arena. Not every horse can handle it, but Zane says this Radar can process the noise.
It looked like a pretty good cow. It ran down the fence that first turn really good. A lot of these cows, when they run that other direction, they set up really bad, and they take off running really fast, and they kind of trick your horse. and he handled it as good as he could. I think he didn't make any mistakes, and it's going to be good. It's just going to have to see if it's enough.
And that is the million-dollar question as the score comes down from the judges. A 220 for Zane and Radar, which gives them an 874.5 composite. Kelby Phillips will need a 224.5 down the fence to beat that. Corey Cushing, a 223. And Jake Telford, just a 217 to take the title of World's Greatest Horseman. We'll see the finish when we come back. Don't ride out.
You're watching Horse of the West on RFD TV, presented by the Oklahoma City Convention and Visitors Bureau.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs, this is it. While supplies last, order all 9 for just $59.99 with free shipping in the continental U.S. Learn training secrets from Hall of Fame members like Sean Flaherty and Tim McQuay and nearly all of NRHA's million-dollar riders. It's the best deal ever and only while supplies last. Buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs at InsideReining.com or call 405-399-3122.
Welcome back to Horse of the West and Fort Worth, Texas. We are down now to the final 3 fence runs of the National Rein Cowhorse Association's World's Greatest Horseman Championship, presented by DT Horses and Hashtags. Zane Davis and Ruby's Radar are in the lead after 4 events: herd work, rein work, steer stopping, and fence work. Their composite score is at 874.5. That means Kelby Phillips needs a 224.5 or better down the fence to take the World's Greatest Horseman title for a second consecutive year. He's riding a horse who's come through for him before, NRCHA Snafflebit Futurity champion Duel's Lucky Charm, owned by Mike and Robin Stewart.
I think this show will put him over 200,000. So he's been one of my favorite horses forever.
This 6-year-old gelding is the youngest horse in the final and one who just transitioned to the bridle for this event.
I mean, he's just a consistent horse. He tries for you every time.
The score for Kelby and Duel's Lucky Charm, a 218, which is going to put them in second. That leaves 2 riders with a chance at the title. Here's Jake Telford on Michelle Cannon's Sparktillion.
I actually started that horse as a 2-year-old, and I was heartbroken when she left my barn, but I guess there was a bigger plan in play, and I ended up getting her back, and here we are.
Jake was first in the prelims. He came out of the herd work in 4th place, out of the reining tied for first, and in sole possession of the lead after 3 events. It's his to win or lose. He just needs a 217 to move into first. But the cows always have a say in this deal, and Jake's draw is not in a helpful mood. He and Sparktillion come away with a disappointing 210 in the fence work. And then there was one, a single horse left with a chance to take it all. Sonita Lena Ray, ridden by former champion Corey Cushing.
Last year was a big year for him. Brought him here for the Snafflebit Futurity Open Bridle, and was lucky enough to win that on him. And this horse gives me a lot of confidence. And he's so laid back, he's so cool, but yet he can be very explosive at the same time.
Corey and the 8-year-old stallion need a 223 to top Zane Davis and Ruby's Radar. Corey's fresh off wins at the Snafflebit Futurity and the AQHA World Championship show. He winds up to hit it out of the park again, earning a score of 225. Corey Cushing and Sherry Jameson's Sonita Lena Ray capture the 2019 World's Greatest Horseman Championship after nearly blowing it in the reining during the long go.
We definitely had our ups and downs, but after our little mishap there in the reining, talking to Sherry that night, she goes, Corey, he's just going to make you work a little bit harder for this. And look what the outcome was.
Corey amazingly climbed the ladder from last to first. I'm Jennifer Reynolds, watching the weeks ahead for our coverage of the World's Greatest Youth Horseman Championship, the AQHA Junior and Senior Reining World Championships, and more. See you then.